This is episode 1 of WHOIS, introducing Jeremy Mbiba.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Do you want to just tell people a bit about yourself and what is you do and how you got into it?
Yeah, so as Prince said, I am Jeremy Mbiba. I am a singer-songwriter, and I would probably say the way I got into music would be simply, honestly, to put it straightforward, I'm blessed enough to be surrounded by people who make music. So from a young age, I sang in the church, which is like such a cliche to begin with, but I sang in the church and my friends would play instruments as well. So after church, we would just be like doing jam sessions, and it kind of evolved into them making music outside of church, and they'd have me singing in like their hooks or choruses. So it kind of spiraled into that, and I decided one day to just get myself my own mic, and I've never looked back.
Can I see how it goes?
Yeah.
Was it with like T that you were doing stuff with?
Exactly, yeah. So like T, aka Prince, Ace Vision, I would probably say they took me under their wing and taught me a lot of the stuff I know now.
The first thing you guys started with was I forget the name of it. It was a group that you guys, that was you, T, YFG, yeah. Because I think when I first met T, it was like you guys had just started YFG.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, like, were you ever there at like the Malawian parties that T used to go to? T and Ace used to go to, man.
I'd be there at a few, and I know that, but not all of them. And I knew sometimes they'd perform and all that stuff at some of those parties, but I wouldn't be at most of them, no.
Because they did perform at one of them, which is why I was like, oh, YFG, who are these guys? Because I was like 14 at the time, so I was thinking I was just turning up because my parents were there, so I was there, innit? And then I was like, YFG, and then like I met T, and then like I run affiliate with him. But yeah, cool. Like when was that? Like how old were you when you kind of started doing it?
I was definitely, I want to say, to be honest, when I started recording with them, I was probably 15, 16. Because I remember going to their house and it'd be the jankiest setups, like humble beginnings kind of setups. They'd have their own white screen and we'd be filming music videos on our phones.
The classic, the Blackberries and stuff.
Genuinely using, what's that software? Audacity. If you guys know Audacity.
Audacity is
we'd be using Audacity to be recording the vocals. And yeah, I just remember it being, they made it seem so accessible, so easy to do it, and that I just kind of decided to take the lead as well.
Let's see how it goes. What, like, were there any people that you looked up to before, like, you even got into actually singing yourself? You thought, oh, those guys are cool, or like, I'd love to be in a similar position to them when I'm older, kind of situation? Or
I think when I was younger, it would be more of a thing of, I just had, obviously, like, you have your favorite artists. Yeah. So it was always, I remember it was Neo to begin with. Yeah. Man. I dressed like Neo.
Did you wear the hat and everything?
I had the hat. I'm telling you, I had the hat and everything. And you couldn't tell me anything. Neo was the best artist in the entire world. And I just remember always being obsessed with him. And then my mom put me on to Beyonce. And I was like, damn, this lady can sing. Yeah. Like, and it was, I think, listening to her and how she recorded. And I'd be watching like studio videos of her recording. Yeah. And it would be like just seeing her building those songs, building the harmonies. That's what I fell in love with most, the production, the vocal production side of it all. So I would say Neo and Beyonce really got me into it. Yeah. And of course, there are more artists now that like have led me and let me grow as an artist. Like Frank Ocean is a huge inspiration. Mm-hmm. I love his writing. I could actually go on like list so many people. Kendrick Lamar is a strange one, but he's another one that's very versatile, and he's not like a standard rapper where it's just his voice all the time. Like he, depending on what he wants to say in the song, he changes his voice. That's what I feel
like there's even each of his albums there's a certain difference in terms of like the sort of style and like the emphasis that he's doing in each and every song and that sort of stuff. So I hear that a bit, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So what are the stuff that you're doing now? Like what are the sort of projects you've been working on recently, and like what's like kind of the end goal, or like at least like the next couple of years? What's the plan for that?
Yeah, so now I've decided to, how can I even say this? So I like to focus on one thing at a time and try to get as good as I can at that. Yeah. So previously I was just recording EPs and like albums and stuff like that, and I never liked to perform because I felt really comfortable like in the recording studio. Like recording, and I can do it as many times as I want. So that was my main focus. I had released, I say my latest, project was How Not to Love Me, but that was like what, 2 years ago
Hey,
now.
big yourself up, man. It's still good.
Yeah, thank you. So that was my main focus, and then after that, I was, let me say encouraged, but it was actually, I was harassed by some to perform live.
Who is some? Say their names.
Sonati. And he'll do it again. I was harassed to perform live, so I decided, let's try to get good at that. And I was once again blessed enough to get the opportunities to actually do it.
Yeah.
So that's been my main focus. I want to get better and better. So I would say that's what I'm focused on at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Getting really good at live performances. So I'm falling into that habit of focusing on one thing. So now the music has kind of taken a back step for now. For now, Sonati.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah. So
you promised me an album, and that's what I'm saying. So we're yet to
scary.
We're yet to see that one. Yeah, cool. And you were recently M4 and Friends. So how was that?
That was a dream. It was. I've done it before. I've sang backing vocals for Rebecca Manny, and that was a dream to be even in that space with so many people like creative like that. And when I got asked to do it myself, to be honest, Bems, if you're watching, as soon as I saw that text from you, I wanted to say no so badly because I was scared. I'm always scared to do live stuff just because I want it to be good. And with it being such an intimate venue, I can't just bring a band.
You can't rely on the band.
Yeah, I had to really get creative with it. So I reached out to, once again, some of the most talented people that I know, Sonati and Ace Vision, and we kind of came together and just built like a great performance. I would say I really loved that performance. It felt like it fit the vibe, like an intimate kind of space.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, so definitely put that together, and that was just a great time, to be honest. Yeah.
Good stuff. Because obviously I couldn't make it, but from everyone who I spoke to who went, they said, yeah, it was good to see like the likes of yourself and even Wolfgang, like JB, etc. They said that they're really good. So
those guys perform.
We got a wheel up on an R&B song.
Yeah.
Yo, wheel up.
Bems was saying, wheel up. The last song. Yeah.
He was singing.
You said, yeah, this is the one.
I couldn't believe it. I'd look at him and he's ear to ear,
grinning,
right in my face, singing the word for word. I was like, wow, I have all these gangsters out here, these rappers singing along.
You know what? I think the first time I met you specifically, I remember like a lot of people already spoken about you. Like before I'd met you, a lot of people were like, oh, like Jeremy, because I think when I'd met you, you'd already dropped a few singles at that point, like a few bodies of work anyway. So like I think I already had some idea of who you were and like what you're about. So I think, I don't know, I feel like you're one of the few people who I know who have like a really strong like personal like brand. Like people see, oh, Jeremy, and they know exactly who and what. Would you feel like, is that something you've like purposely done, or is it just kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of happened, I guess?
I honestly don't know. I wouldn't say I've manufactured it or like chased it.
Right, okay.
I think it's just weird because my friends, like you guys are all in the creative industry. So when you guys say that you like my stuff, I'm just like, oh yeah, thank you. Like, but because I mean, I always admire your stuff. So for me, it just feels like we're just kind of supporting each other. So it never really hits me how people actually feel about my stuff.
Perceiving it,
yeah, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think maybe it's just, I don't really think about it too much, but it's hearing that's kind of wild.
I don't know. Maybe that's just how I see it, but I definitely think that like I've seen a lot of people really back you like to a proper extent and be like, nah, like they'll ride or die for you basically to some extent. So it's good. I think it's good. I think especially in Glasgow, like there's a lot of people that I've seen who are definitely like making a lot of noise, and I think in the next couple of years it'll be interesting to see like what's going on in terms of the scene as a wide, especially the music side of things. I feel like I'm not really too clued in the other stuff like outside of fashion and music, but I think the scene is definitely going in a good place right now.
Definitely. Like, I mean, you see so many, I feel like every other day I'm discovering someone new, like in Glasgow. It's always like a thing of, I've never seen, like I can always say like I've never seen this type of music in Glasgow. I'm the only person that does this as far as I know. Yeah. But then I'll go to like events and I'll see like, oh yeah, this singer that has been making music all this time, and I've just never even, I think it's just
discovering them now.
Yeah, like you discover it now. Like it's you, I won't know anything about it until I actually get to see it in person. Yeah. And I've met a lot of artists like that, like some of the people that I really look up to, honestly, and it's like I would have never known about you until I stumbled across your stuff. Like that kind of stuff, especially they're right under your nose, especially in Glasgow or Edinburgh. It's wild to think about that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Is there anyone that you actually, on that topic, that you'd want to work with in that like circle that you're talking about, people like you've just kind of start to get to know?
Off the top of my head, I really admire I think they're called Unmastered.
Like, Pants and
It's like people, like some of them. One of the guys, Malachi.
Oh yeah.
I know Malachi as. Sorry, I hope I'm not spilling any business or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, Malachi is a kid that went to church, like Edinburgh Church, and I'd always see him. Had no idea he did music, no idea at all until, like Pele and stuff would be telling me about, oh, look at the stuff we've been working on. And I'm like, this is Malachi. He produces, like everything. So seeing those guys, hearing the stuff that they've done, it's incredible. I would honestly say as well, I love Danny Cliff. He's always going to be on my list. Danny Cliff is
Danny, man.
Just too good.
Yeah.
And it's insane. And I'm obviously going to name my goons. So Sonati, killer producer.
Serious guy, man.
Honestly, the bars as well. He's out here like this. Yeah. The bars are insane. Ace Vision.
Man, like, yeah.
He's intimidatingly good.
Bro, when I hear him like spit stuff off the dome, I'm thinking, right, cool. So if I was a musician and I looked at him, I'd be like, yeah, I'm finished.
That's really him.
Yeah.
He does Ace does everything that I would love to do. Like, it's just wild to see how he does it, and he just gets all these opportunities, and I'm lucky enough to be a part of it. I can watch you build these things, and like I can see you actually building this. So I'd say off the top of my head, those are probably the guys
you're thinking of,
keeping an eye on for now. Yeah.
So obviously you've been in the game for quite a couple of years now. Are there any things that you've kind of struggled with in terms of being like a musician, and like even just in terms of like the live performances that you've been doing recently?
Yeah, I think my main struggles would definitely be, and this will kind of answer your questions as well about where's the music, like why am I not doing much?
Why are you not seeing music?
Yeah, I would probably say I get really in my head about doing anything like music related kind of wise. Okay. So it's all good and well. That being said, I'm always recording something. I'm always working on something, but sometimes I don't feel like I'm growing, or it doesn't feel like a step.
Like you're progressing.
Yeah. Because it's easy enough to just do another album or single about the same kind of song I just done previously. And I feel like I don't want it to ever get boring. But at the same time, I'm trying to figure out the balance of how can I keep challenging myself, but at the same time, keep making consistent music.
Like dropping off.
Yeah. Because it can get draining sometimes, and trying to juggle 9 to 5 and working in the studio, it can get a lot. And sometimes you do get burnt out, and you just don't feel inspired. Like I'm not really feeling too inspired right now. So it's like new music isn't really even in my headspace, but I think it's just trying to figure out how I can create something new, like challenge myself, where I'm excited about releasing something.
Where you feel like it's like your authentic self.
Yeah.
You're actually ready. Like, let me go and actually drop this kind of thing.
And I think it links even back to why I'm focusing so much on live stuff, because it's that excitement of when I'm approached to do something live, and straight away I'm too scared, and I just want to be like, no, like I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, the fear that comes with it. Yeah.
And like the prep and the nerves that you feel even before you're on the stage, I want to chase that same kind of high.
I see, right? With creating the music.
In music, yeah. Right. So like I want to do something, maybe not something that scares me, but something where it feels like, okay, this is like a challenge. I'm going to have to like prove myself.
Like push yourself out of your comfort zone almost.
Like prove to myself, stuff kind of stuff. So.
So circling back to, so you spoke about how like having a 9 to 5 in the process, like creating music. Is there any, like, do you feel like you have a bit of a balance there in terms of like a work creative process or something, or like is there certain things that you do to kind of keep you in the creative flow whilst also like obviously spending 8 hours a day in like another place kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean I love to stay busy, to be honest. So as draining as it sounds, nothing makes me happier than finishing a full shift at work and then going to rehearsals for 3 hours. Like that's
just straight to it.
Yeah, just staying busy, especially if it's something creative. I can be there for hours. As burnt out as I feel, I thrive for that kind of stuff. I would say it makes it so much easier as well with having friends that are also in this industry.
Yeah, 100%.
They can really help. They inspire me. And it's even as something as easy as we're chilling and they play something and I'm like, oh, remember that? Or
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, can you send that to me? Yeah. So that always kind of fuels it, and it kind of helps me kind of juggle both those lifestyles. It's not like I'm working by myself constantly. I do have help.
That's
so
true.
It makes it easier.
I think that's one thing that even for me, like, I feel like for me personally, kind of like when I feel drained energy wise, it also drains my creative process. So it's like, if I've spent like 8 hours doing something else, like let's say, I don't know, like at work, for example, then I come back and I'm just like, I just get a bit like, I'm just like, I just don't want
to open the laptop.
Yeah, like, and then I just start editing. But I guess maybe it's different because it's video editing.
Yeah.
I don't know how what's your process behind in terms of like, let's say you come back from work, like what would be your process in terms of like making a song, for example? Like, how would you go about starting that?
So it really depends. If I don't have material sent to me, like sometimes I do have producers reach out and they'll give me stuff. And if it clicks straight away, then it's not a challenge. It's kind of just, I write what comes to my head and I build it that way. But I can't really ever build a song lyrics first and then track later kind of thing. Yeah. So I need to hear something that kind of triggers something for me to write about.
Like the inspiration.
Yeah. So I would say if I have material already, it makes it a lot easier. But there have been times where I'll leave work and I'll tell myself like I'm going to record something. And you just kind of go home. Even I don't play instruments, so everything will just be coming from the voice. So I'll just sit and I'll maybe even hum a melody.
Yeah.
And kind of build alongside that or something like that, really.
Fair enough. No, that's good. Yeah, I think like starting is where like once you start, I feel like you kind of build up from there. But I think trying to get to the point where you actually start is where it's like
that's the hardest part.
Exactly. Like I think to actually put yourself, like especially like what we're talking about in the context, like you come back from work, you're like, oh, like now I want to go do XYZ, and then you're like, oh mate. But then you have to just sit there. Once you sit down and do it, and you sit down and actually think, okay, I'm going to put my mind to it, it's a lot easier to then build something from that, as opposed to like when before you even start, you're thinking, oh, I have to actually go and even just set my stuff up in the first place before I even like start thinking about ideas of things to do and all that sort of stuff. But I guess it's part and parcel with what we're doing. So it's like you're going to have that balance for a bit, whereas you're going to be doing stuff after work or like even on the weekends, just like squeeze some time in between
wherever
friends
you can,
and that sort of stuff. So so off camera we talked about music videos, and you said that you never want to really do music videos. Is there a specific reason for that?
I just feel like I'm too awkward for that. Honestly, I'm too awkward. I'm way too awkward, especially when if it's something where I can just be like authentically myself, because I do videos.
Yeah.
I film videos all the time of myself, but it will just be like kind of, I pick up the camera in the moment. This is what I'm doing. Come along.
Yeah, let's
so
go,
it's just me. But like in a music video, you've heard the songs I sing about. How am I meant to be?
Would you even experiment with the idea of like, because I know some, who is it? Jungle, for example, they do this where it's like, it's not them. It's just like other people doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? Would you ever do something like that, for example?
I'd really be into stuff like that. And I think it's just even like creating like the treatment for the video. Like, where do you even begin? Once again, I'm blessed to have people like you, and you guys can help me build that. But I think it's just, it's another thing where it's another field that I need to tackle and even just gain the confidence in.
I see, right, okay.
So,
because I guess to be fair, if you're doing it that way, you'd have to almost direct it. So it's like, how would you want the process to go and that sort of stuff?
It's just scary, yo.
What, the treatment stuff?
Yeah, just the whole thing of, I would hate to even just build up a full video and then hate it at the end. And it's like, all that work.
Just looking at it and nah.
But no, I mean, one day, I don't think I'll really ever step in front of the lens unless it's like a different type of, not a song not about love.
Yeah, like something slightly different.
Yeah, because that's not my life. As much as I sing about it, that's not
my
life.
Did you guys hear? He's a fraud.
It's all fake. I fooled you. So I mean, I think that's mainly the reason why because the songs
okay.
I'm singing aren't about my life. So I can't fake a feeling. I'm not an actor.
It'd be almost like imposter syndrome, like you're acting out something that doesn't really resonate to you.
Yeah, I can't pretend like that's like I'm feeling it. And I feel like you have to really, with those kind of songs, you have to really give, like lean into.
That's true. That's true. I think when I shooting music videos, I think you can definitely tell like working with like actors and people who have like they do this for a living, like the amount of like effort and energy that goes into them like actually performing is, because I think when you look at it just watching, you just think, oh, okay, cool, like they're doing what they do, obviously, but it's like you don't realize how much that actually entails in terms of the final product, and like even stitching all together like the scenes and the romances and all that sort of stuff. So I totally hear that when you say it that way. So in the end goal for yourself, you want to stay in Scotland or you want to branch out in other places? Because I feel it's a conversation I have with quite a lot of people, and everyone seems to have a lot of different opinions about whether they want to stay up here, whether they want to go to England, or even just like leave the UK entirely. So what's your like perspective on that matter?
See, maybe sometimes I feel like I'm not really thinking too far ahead or not dreaming big enough.
Right, okay.
I do feel like this is home.
Yeah.
Like I'm so happy being here. But I do know for the opportunities, especially in this field, there are better places to be. Even down south. Like I wouldn't, it's not like I'm never moving. It's just not really in my head frame at the moment. It's not something I'm thinking about.
Right, okay.
I would be open to it if it made sense, especially for something like to forward my career, or say like, I don't know, I was to get signed and I need to go to America or something like that.
You mean like when you get signed, right?
When I get
like
signed.
When that Atlantic record comes and says, you know what, Jeremy, it's time.
Yeah, when I get signed and I have to go to America, then so be it.
Be careful in that industry, you know.
Yeah, that one they'll have you.
So,
they'll have you crying.
Like, you'll be paying with your soul, but you'll be there. You'll be there.
But yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I wouldn't say I'm not set
in a specific place. Now.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
Kind of going with the flow. Don't know how good of a plan that is, but kind of just. I
thought the thing is like planning. For me, planning is one of those things where it's like you can plan all you want, but then the day things just might just go very different to how you planned it. So it's like I can totally see why you'd just be like, you know what, let me just do what I'm doing now and just see where that takes me. It's totally fair enough.
Definitely. I mean, I'm seeing growth where I am right now.
Okay.
Very slowly, but like I'm seeing it at least a little bit. I've done some things where I would have never thought. Like this all started as fun for me.
Yeah, as just a hobby kind of thing.
Just a hobby. My friends were doing it, and it was a way for me and my friends to kind of bond. So I'm seeing growth. I think it will probably speed up, and then I'd have to then move or something.
Yeah, just explore your options from that.
Yeah, but you can set the foundations here and see how it goes from there.
It's fair point. Off camera as well, we spoke about content creation. Is that something that you'd intertwine with your music specifically, or is that just a complete separate entity to you making music?
That's another thing that I'm trying to find the balance for. So I love video creation, and my favorite part of that is also like the behind the scenes of everything. And I feel like that falls perfectly with the stuff I do, whether that's recording music, rehearsing for shows. Like that's I would say that's some of the stuff that my friends love to see as well. So I think it's just really fun. I love to see when my favorite artists do like studio session,
like what we did today in the studio kind of thing.
And I can sit there and watch. It could be a 2-hour video of them just in the studio building a song, or a 2-hour video of them rehearsing. I'm watching all of that because I love to see that stuff. So I think I'm emulating it and doing it myself.
I see, right? Okay, so you're seeing them like, okay, cool. Like, let me see how this works in my own context.
I want to do it as well, and just kind of I just document everything because it lets me also go back and see what I did, how I can do it better,
and just kind of explore what's happening.
It kind of helps. I can kind of join those two worlds, music and video.
Would you ever actually make like you seen like Kanye West and Travis Scott, how they do like hour, 2 hour long documentaries about like, would you ever do something like that, for example, like later down the line, or even just now, for example?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Just have like someone filming you for like, I don't know, like a couple of months, and just like getting the process leading up to a certain point or that sort of thing.
That would be really fun as well, just to even not worry about me being the one to film. I feel like that was a big thing, especially with the M4 and Friends thing. It was fine because I could film during rehearsals and just put my phone up and go. But I realized I didn't have any footage of the actual performance at all because I was too busy doing something or being in the moment or whatever. So having someone film would be so much easier. You can get a lot more stuff, and it'll be kind of the same vibe because I love to edit as well. So as long as I just get the footage, it's too good. It's once again, you know, that thing when you starting it is annoying, but once you start,
bro, it just flows. Like,
it's and it sometimes feels like some things just fall into place. Like this clip was perfect to then go with this, and it's just by chance everything works.
It's so seamless. Yeah,
I think when that happens and you get into the flow, you can sit there for hours just editing. That's one of my favorite things to do as well. I
think especially because obviously I've got you saved as Mr. CCTV on my thing, because I know obviously you record a lot. Like I see you with the camera all the time. Like so I feel like when I see your edits, I'm like, nah, this guy's put time and effort into this clip. This is not just like put your phone out and just record and then go.
That's why I film everything, because otherwise no one will believe me.
Yeah,
like I need to film everything that happens.
4K evidence.
Yeah, and it's just fun to have. Like you can watch back and see like moments with you guys and everything. It's fun stuff.
This is actually another point. Do your parents did they do that at all? Like have little camcorders or cameras? 'Cause I've noticed a lot of people who are in this space, like at least in the photography, videography kind of side of things, a lot of their folks had like old cameras and all this and that. Like they kind of used to like mess around with it. Kind of influences you to do that.
Yeah, they didn't do it not as much as I do, obviously.
Nobody does as much.
I have a problem. But they definitely did when I was younger, because I remember stumbling across like, you know, those chunky VHS.
Yeah, the ones you have to hold with both hands.
Yeah, the camcorders. I remember stumbling across it, and we had even the tapes, and I would plug it in and see like 6-year-old me dancing in front of the camera, or like something. Like my parents would be filming us, me and my cousins, and they did film a lot of stuff as well. So I've definitely caught the bug. To be honest, even in high school, my one of my best friends would always film.
Like what's going on?
Yeah, in class, like during lunch, she'd be filming us, and I'm just like, why are you always filming? And she'd never post them; she'd just save them. And I'm like, why? What's the point?
What you doing? Yeah.
And now here I am doing the same exact thing because I've seen this gold to do that stuff.
Fair enough. So I guess so. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Whenever you're getting some new music,
okay.
Are we getting more music from Jeremy this year? Because we need at least 3 songs.
3? 3. You promised me an album.
No. I don't mind not hearing an album.
No, you don't mind. I do. I'm trying to hear my speakers, my noise cancelling. Like, this is a new Jeremy Mbiba.
No, because Jeremy's always like, oh, I need this, I need that, I need this. Because see the M4 and Friends. You know how many people came up to me and told me that him and Rebecca as well, but him especially, need to stop releasing music because it's getting annoying. Everyone's getting annoyed because we've got all this talent and we're all waiting for it to drop. So I'm gonna need at least 3 bare minimum. That's all I'm asking for. Right. Bare minimum 3 songs. I don't care what they sound like. I don't care what the vibe is. I just want to hear Jeremy sing, and I want those harmonies. I want those stacked vocals.
Word.
The stacked vocals is bad. Yeah, I can't like Rebecca. If you're watching this, you promised me music as well.
Yeah,
so we'll be waiting. Yeah. But on that note, actually, the stacked harmonies. What made you kind of get into that, like that sort of way of doing music?
It would, once again, my favorite artist, Beyonce. I just listening to, as you know, I listen to the studio sessions.
Yeah.
And I'll see her building, even stacking the harmonies herself. And it was just, I think it just fascinates me that one person can become a choir and it can be such like an important part of the song. It's kind of made it a thing for me where it's definitely the easiest part of recording.
Right, okay.
And to me, it's the most important part. I feel like that's my thing.
Like your alley.
Yeah. Everything else, I'm not so like confident in. I'm not the best writer. I wouldn't even say like I'm the best like vocalist. Like kind of way. Yeah. There will always be someone better than you, kind of thing, you know. So I wouldn't say I'm the best even vocalist. So harmonies though, or vocal producing, that's where I can actually enter a room and be like, yeah, this is what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I can definitely do this. No doubt. If you give me some time, give me the material, I can do stuff with that. Yeah. So Beyonce definitely got me into that. Like, it's just something I do kind of for fun. It kind of flows so easily, and it's not something I even think about anymore. Even like if I'm in the studio and my friends are the engineers at that time, I'll sing something and straight away in my head I'm already hearing the next part, if that makes sense.
Right, okay. You're almost kind of like a few steps ahead already.
Yeah, so I already hear it. It's not like I'm searching for it. I hear what it needs to be, and then I can just kind of lay it down. So it just kind of comes to me and I think it's just having fun with it, not being in my head too much, and not overthinking it, kind of thing.
Just kind of taking a bit
easy. Comes easy, thank God.
So that's not something, because every time I see people doing stuff, I'm like, yeah, cool. So there's so much more to this music thing than I think a lot of people seem to realize. So that's very, very interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry.
You're very sorry. Yeah, cool. So is there anyone you want to shout, anything you want to mention before we wrap up?
I want to shout out my girl Chelsea K. She is a force. Like, to honestly think, like, I can't even explain how much that girl inspires me. And it'll be the littlest things, like, sister's she's given birth, like, what, 3-4 months ago?
Yeah.
And she texted me one day, like, she was hosting a radio set at Radio Buena Vida.
Yeah.
And I'd go and support her, and the baby's strapped on her, and she's just doing her job. And I'm like, that's insane. Like, who else?
Superwoman, man.
Yeah. So it's just, I seen that girl perform pregnant.
Yeah.
It was just to see her, like, she really has that drive. So huge shout out to Chelsea K. We need new music from you, Chelsea.
Yeah, I can't lie. She's another one.
And if I'm saying it, something's wrong. New music is coming.
She's to take care of. You don't.
Yeah, sure. That baby's our baby. We're all taking care of.
It's in Zion's house.
Nah, new music is coming for me. I want to work with some more people.
So yeah, I guess in that case, we're going to wrap up the podcast now. But thank you for coming on, and hopefully hope to hear from you soon.
Always.
Thank you for coming.